What's going on, everyone? What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and you know how much I like to roast Ubisoft. And you know how much I like to roast censorious SJWs. So when I get to do both at once, I cannot reasonably describe just how happy that makes me. It makes me so happy. I'm going to let Colt stay up here for the whole video because he needs attention. Well, yesterday or the day before, of course, the mainstream media got all hot and bothered that PewDiePie dared to not completely memorize the entire catalog of every video of every channel that he might recommend. So, of course, the mainstream media used that to smear Pewds as some sort of neo-Nazi because of some imagery in the videos of some dude's channel. That's neither here nor there. The guy's channel, I'm assuming, is within YouTube terms of service, and I'm not going to go down that road. But of course, because mainstream media has literally nothing else to do than dig up dirt on PewDiePie as an attempt to smear him, because let's be honest, they are 100% jealous of the empire that he's built. They are 100% jealous about YouTubers that can be sitting in their basement and doing what these journalists have tried their whole life to do. We do it better, we do it with no overhead, and most of us who are good at it make more money than they do. This is primarily, in my opinion, what drives a lot of these hit pieces and a lot of this basic concern trolling. Like, oh, we need to look at this article and, PewDiePie made a joke. And this whole attitude that, well, I don't think it's funny, so it's not funny, because, you know, the far, far left is the new Puritans. They are the new puritanical class of 2018, and they decide if a joke is actually a joke. They also decide the context, what might be going through your head, and what your exact intent was when it comes to things you say. We see this with Jack Cunty from Patreon banning people like Sargon of Akkad, ignoring context in some words he used in a live stream off his channel, banning him regardless of the fact he did not break their terms of service. We see this with friend of the channel, Count Dankula, literally facing prison time for teaching his dog a trick, where the courts there ignored context, ignored it, and just labeled him all sorts of horrendous names. That's what people are still trying to do to PewDiePie, and these people will never be satisfied until he is gone. Well, now we have a Ubisoft dev making a pretty suspicious threat, in my opinion. So let's take a look at what this young lady had to say. Well, actually, before I get into that, just so a lot of you emailed me and said that you still wanted to pick up a t-shirt for the Exclusively Games crowdfunder, which ended 2 days ago with 4,500 backers. I'm going to leave it up through the weekend. That'll be the last time you'll be able to get this exclusive founder edition t-shirt, but this fundraiser will actually stay up in perpetuity. I'm just going to have to change the perks and stuff like that so that we can do fundraising goals as they come up. Website's already in development. I'm working on how we're going to do game reviews. I think I'm pretty happy with the system we have, so stay tuned for that. Any hoozle, Diana, who is on the production team of The Division, works at Ubisoft Massive, and of course, she's a fan of diversity. Now, I want to, before we go into this, don't contact this person. Again, this is what they want. They say outrageous things, and then they don't want to be held accountable for them. And then before you know it, they craft a victim narrative, start posting their Venmos and PayPals. Let's not feed into that. This person is, in my opinion, has garbage opinions, but let's not remind them of that, because obviously they don't care. She says, enough is enough. Gaming industry. Now remember, this is coming from a gaming industry insider at Ubisoft. I'm going to need you to end this dude. You know exactly who you are. What does that even mean? To end him. To my knowledge, Pewds doesn't even exist to promote AAA games. Anytime I see him play a game, it's some random game I've never heard of. So the idea that Ubisoft or EA or any of these people have anything to do with PewDiePie is absurd. He doesn't stream their games. He doesn't promote their games. He doesn't take their money. What do you mean by end him? Now, I can look at this and say, well, she probably means end his career, but that is not what she said. She said end him. Is this some sort of veiled threat? And who exactly is she talking to? Cut ties with him now. Again, who are you talking about to, and what do you mean by end him? It's important to call out constant bad behavior from folks who consistently act bad. Excusing his actions desensitizes people to ignorance and hate. And just so everyone remembers, PewDiePie's oopsie was giving a shout out to a channel whom produced a single video that he liked. He did not fully endorse this person's beliefs and ideas. He did not endorse every video on the channel. He just said, the guy made a video that I liked. That is the behavior that PewDiePie has exhibited here. Saying he's a comedian is being ignorant to what comedians do. That's right, because as we said earlier, the far left, censorious, regressive, social justice warriors, there are all the words for you, they decide what is funny. And if they don't think it's funny, well, then it's not funny. You want to make a 9/11 joke? Not funny. Can't do it. They say it's not funny, so you can't. You can't make, jokes about historical figures with funny mustaches. Nope, not funny. In fact, you are an anti-Semite if you make those jokes, because a very small group of people don't think they're funny. So saying he's being satiric is being ignorant of what satire is. That's right, Diana. You, a 20-something over in Sweden who doesn't have any career in comedy or any knowledge on comedy, you understand what satire is better than the rest of the world. In fact, the entire zeitgeist, the entire working definition of what comedy is runs through you, Diana, a Ubisoft developer. Also hilarious that this post that garners a lot of attention, I wish I had a SoundCloud to promote. Like I said, you want to get paid. This is how they work. And this article is absolutely absurd. E:'R's channel has grown by 15,000 subscribers since PewDiePie's terrible shout out. That's what I imagine whoever wrote this trash was thinking. Oh, Julia Alexander. Well, her opinions are trash as well. And of course, PewDiePie was, of course, forced into apologizing for daring to give a shout out. He shouted out many channels, by the way, not just E:'R. And you know what? Me covering this, Verge, you idiots, these people will never understand the Streisand effect. It's like when NPC001 wrote that article about our crowdfunder, we raised $60,000 more. So thank you, NPC001, who continues to not understand how the Streisand effect works. And here we have The Verge continuing to not understand how the Streisand effect works. All these hit pieces do is help Felix get more popular. And certainly all these hit pieces on E:'R is going to send him a lot of subscribers. I've never watched a single video. I don't know if I'd like it or not. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. Don't really care. It's about the principle. His shout out shouldn't go unnoticed by those in the YouTube community. Hassan Piker, oh boy, from the Young Turks, okay, tweeted out his concerns over Kjellberg's bringing newfound attention to E:'R's channel. Piker noted that even if Kjellberg hadn't seen most of his videos, understanding the responsibility that comes out with shouting out a channel is crucial to Kjellberg's stature. No, it isn't. Nobody on the planet outside of censorious, dead memes, journalists, which are really activists, outrage artists, give two rips about who gives shout outs to who. When I give a shout out, it's because I genuinely like the channel. I don't care if I have 100 subscribers or 100 million subscribers. If you're having a genuine moment and you're saying, these are channels I like, so what? He does not have any responsibility to censor the channels that he likes, and he doesn't have any responsibility to think about when he gives shout outs. That's not his responsibility. That's a undue burden that you are placing on him. And why are you placing it on him, Verge? You are placing it on him because you don't like him. Because you don't like the channels that he shouted out. Now it's a problem. Let me ask you a very simple question that all of you, I'm sure, will know the answer to without having to think about it. Would we see these articles if Felix had shouted out feminism channels? Would we have seen these articles saying that Felix really needs to be responsible because he shouted out the Women's March, which is now being completely torn apart by all sorts of just horrible thoughts by some of the leaders? No, you wouldn't have said this. You have a problem with the shout out because of who's in the shout out. And by the way, it's one of many channels that he shouted out. So these, of course, are, in my opinion, this is a representation of everything I dislike about the gaming community from a developer and employee standpoint, not you, the gamers. And it's also important to remember that people like Diana are like a tiny sea hair of everybody that actually works in video games. All the hardworking developers and QA people and the people on UI, UX, UX, all these people, you're talking about a sea hair in terms of a piece of the pie. So I always, after opening up all this stuff, talking about Blizzard, the social justice stuff at Blizzard and at Riot and all these companies, I've really gotten woke to the fact that it's really not everyone in these buildings. What happens is you have a small minority of really loud people that bully everyone else in the building to falling in line. And when most people just want to work and get their job done, this is how they gain power, because most people are indifferent. It starts easy, oh, don't you want everyone to feel like they're welcome here? Oh yeah, well sure. Oh okay, well there's not enough purple people that work here. Oh whoa. So Diana, again, please don't contact her, but she encapsulates a lot of what I strongly dislike about the gaming industry, and you can let your mind be made up. Now, I wouldn't contact her, but maybe the question to Ubisoft would be, do you support this? Is she talking to her boss, Ubisoft, when she says you need to end him? I don't know. I'm not in her head. I'm not going to ascribe context or intent of what she has to say, but I'm going to point out that there are many different interpretations of what she might have said, and none of them make her or the gaming industry look good. But all I can say to wrap this video up is remember to subscribe to PewDiePie. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.